Alright. So Sejuani is a 6 mana 5/6 with Overwhelm. Play, give an enemy Frostbite and Vulnerable this round. When you damage the enemy nexus in 5 different rounds this game. Huh. Okay. I don't understand Vulnerable. I mean, I'm sure it'll explain it. So they give it to the 3/2, crowd favorite. Oh, because that 3/2 doesn't even have a challenge. It lets itself get hooked. Okay, I see, I see. This enemy can challenge this unit, forcing to block. Okay, I see. That's a pretty cool animation. Give an enemy Frostbite and Vulnerable this round. The first time I see damage the enemy nexus each round, Frostbite all enemies. That's so strong. That's so strong because of how the effect plays out. If you overwhelm attack with the first minion, everything else is just is it's frozen. Like it shows right here. That's really strong. Man, and the thing about this is I could see it being really strong with Noxus, just aggro decks in general. Now your finisher with Darius could be a Sejuani. Or maybe it might be too late, but getting a lot of damage in is pretty crazy. Just the fact that you're going to be able to hit them so many times, the Sejuani will definitely be a control part where you just finish the game if they were to overextend at some point. These are the cards that come with it. For Fear of the North, I did think about it a lot more. I did think it sucked at first. But now I think it's okay. And the reason being is you can compare it to Repost. And Repost is a 4 mana 3 attack, give you barrier. But this card is such a weaker version because when you're looking with barrier, you're buffing so many cards that like Shen, who require people to use barrier, the one drop that requires like if there's a barrier, get +2, and so on. While this card is just like health. You're trying to buff like one minion, being a Freljord card. With Repost, you're like buffing either like a Fiora or a Garen, a unit you really, really want to stay alive. Fury of the North, like if you buff Ashe, like uh, those are the cards that they kind of have their own different answers. So giving them like a health buff and attack buff is kind of meh. Especially like I said, the barrier is something that progresses through things while giving enemy health, not really. I think it's an okay card and constructed, probably a great card in Expedition. Ruthless Raider is a 2 mana 3/1 with Tough and Overwhelm. I think this card is pretty whatever. There's a lot of, if you think of all the 2 drops in the game and even 1 drops, there's going to be so many minions that can just kill this minion because you need to have 2 attack or more. And there's so many cards that are like 3 health and 2 health that like you're just eating 1 damage for this card. And that's not like saying that like this still dies to like Mystic Shot. So I mean if you're really concerned about this card, you could just Mystic Shot it in the early game and stuff like that. It is a good Omen Hawk like buff target. Being a 4/2 with tough, then you need a 3 attack, and that's when it's like a pretty good card. But just not a fan of this. I think it's okay in constructed man expedition. Now Amber Maiden, round start, deal 1 to everything. Now my problem with this card is if you play her down and you're trying to use her effect, she becomes a 3/1. So you're playing this at 3 mana and she becomes a 3/1. She can easily get cleared out being a 1 health minion. It's just, I don't know. I just don't see that effect being so strong. I mean, this effect, sure, it'll be really strong against like spiders, but what else? You know? And other than that, like, what if you're just playing, like, you're talking about the 1/1 spiders. Like, what about the 2 health spiders? It doesn't really do anything. It being a Freljord card, I guess you can combine this turn 3 and then turn 4 Avalanche for a 3 damage clear. Could see that being good. Um, this is also implying that it doesn't get cleared out when it's seen. So if you're playing against a control deck and they really care about this, it's getting destroyed. This also hurts your own minions. So do you have any 1 health minions? And I guess it has synergy with the 2 mana card because it has tough now. Mm, eh, it's man constructed and man expedition. Well, actually, it's okay in expedition. I think it might be really good there. Let me see. Standalone is more efficient and it's permanent. That's the issue. It needs to be permanent. I think that's true as well. Because, I mean, standalone is like a 3/3 that gives it the buff for the whole round. I mean, for the whole game, because it's just a permanent thing. And this one is just like a 4/4 for the round. You're paying 4 mana for this. Like, sure, you can have other minions and stuff like that. But in comparison to other buff cards, this one just doesn't do much. And it's not like you're getting yourself in a +1 card advantage. You're just doing this to keep a minion alive, honestly. There's no, I feel like there's just not that big of an advantage you can get when you can't use another card. That's why Freljord doesn't have that many buff cards. Talking about Freljord overall in a faction, if you use Fury of the North in another, like, with a combination with another faction, maybe there could be some good use, but I'm just really thinking about it with Freljord, like, it's very confusing. We have Stormclaw Yersin? 5 mana Overwhelm, 6/6. Other allies with +5 power have Overwhelm. This card seems really, really good. First of all, it's a 5 mana 6/6, so you're already getting your stats there. That's crazy. Like, those are some good stats for a 5 mana card. Not that many 5 mana cards even have those kind of stats, actually. It has Overwhelm, and it's giving others Overwhelm in your team with no downside. That just looks like a really strong card. It makes the Overwhelm deck type for helping out Sejuani really, really strong. No rarity means another card creates it. Stormclaw just seems really good with no downside. I think it's a great card. Really good in constructed, really good in expedition. I don't know how to feel about Sejuani yet. It seems really, really strong, but let me think. Okay, because the effect is crazy. I think the effect is crazy. It will work for 6 mana, right? And especially if she levels up, if you get the chance of leveling her up, that means she would have had to survive 5 different rounds. So let's think about it like in an actual scenario, right? It's your turn. On turn 6, you play Sejuani, you attack, you get one, that's one, right? You've dealt damage once, and this is implying you dealt damage with Sejuani. 5 different rounds this game. Then it's their turn, then it's your turn. If you didn't deal damage during their turn, hmm. That's really hard. It's really hard to have her up there for 5 different rounds. And like, honestly, if you damage them 5 different times, I think you would have already won in 5 different rounds. I think you would have already won at that point, right? If you're going with an overwhelm deck, I think you would have won before like 5 different rounds. If you're going with an aggro deck, hmm. I wonder. It doesn't have to be in the field. She can drop leveled. Oh, never mind. That's true. Okay, I didn't know that. So yeah, if she's not on the board, she still levels up. That's insane. Never mind, this card's insane. I forgot that some champs level up like that. If she's not on the board, she could just level up like that. That's insane. It's a really good card, I think. Wow. I think that's very easy. So yeah, so let's go back to thinking about that in a real life scenario, right? So if you're attacking turn 1 or turn 2, it's possible that you get 3 rounds of dealing damage. You can keep her in the hand until she's leveled up, based on what you think. But even then, like, it's a crazy card. I think it's really good. She also kills Garen, which is something that's Bannerman is pretty up there. So the 5/5 body really good. I mean, also when you play her, she gets rid of most champs that are there during that turn. If the opponent goes first and they play Hecarim, you can do this as a response. It kills Hecarim as well. So she's a very good threat to any champion summon. around that turn because she just gives them frostbite and vulnerable. Like you just pull them. If it's their turn or your turn, you just play the Sejuani and you kill that card you want to kill. There are a lot of high drops that Sejuani can actually just straight up destroy. It's a very good card. Oh man, that's so cool though. I'm so happy they put Sejuani in. Damn. Yeah, Stormclaw. Stormclaw looks so good. A 5 mana 6/6. So that's an upside. Like Noxus has a 4 mana 5/5 that deals 1 damage to all its units. And like sure I get it, that's the archetype, but you can that's still technically a downside, right? That's still technically a downside, but this card has no downside. This card is like, hey, by the way, if you have 5+ power, give them Overwhelm too. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, that sucks. So, very good card, very good card.